Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Nightforge. Today we will be taking a deep dive into the world of Greek mythology and exploring a series of shocking betrayals that led to the fall of Olympus. From the betrayal of the Titans to the treachery of the Olympians, we'll be uncovering the hidden truths and devastating consequences of these divine misdeeds. So buckle up and prepare for a wild ride through the world of the Greek gods. But before we begin our tale, we ask that you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss any of our thrilling stories. Now let's dive in. As the home of the Greek gods, Olympus was a place of great power and privilege, but it was also a place where betrayal ran rampant. From the highest peaks of Mount Olympus, Zeus kept a watchful eye over his domain, but even he could not foresee the treacherous schemes that were being hatched by some of his closest allies. The Olympians may have been the most powerful beings in the Greek pantheon, but they were not immune to the corrosive effects of jealousy, ambition, and deceit. And as the story of the Greek gods began to unfold, it became clear that the bonds of brotherhood and loyalty were not as strong as they seemed. To truly understand the betrayals that shook Olympus to its core, we must first look back to the days of the Titans. The Titans were a race of giant deities who ruled the earth before the Olympians. Led by Cronus, the Titans were a formidable force, but they too were not without their flaws. Cronus had 5 children with his wife Hera, and each child represented a threat to his power. In a desperate attempt to maintain control, Cronus swallowed each of his children as they were born, keeping them away from the world and from him. However, his plans were thwarted when Hera, in secret, gave birth to their youngest son, Zeus, and then tricked Cronus into swallowing a stone instead. As Zeus grew in strength and wisdom, he plotted with his siblings, freed them from their prison within Cronus, and led a war against the Titans. With the help of some unexpected allies, including the Cyclopes and the Hecatancheras, the Olympians were able to defeat the Titans and claim victory in the war. But the cost of that victory was high. Many of the Titans were banished to Tartarus, the realm of the dead, and those who survived were forever changed by the loss. This betrayal was one of the most significant events in the history of the cosmos, as it marked the end of the Titans' reign and the beginning of the Olympians' dominance. It also set in motion a chain of events that would lead to further betrayals and tragedies in the years to come. So now that we have established how much damage a single betrayal can do, let's take a closer look at some of the other times that the Greeks betrayed their own. In Greek mythology, there is perhaps no greater sin than betraying one's family. Yet it is precisely this kind of betrayal that runs rampant among the Olympians. Let's start with the story of the elopement of Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, and Hades, the god of the underworld. When Hades abducts Persephone and takes her to the underworld, Demeter is furious. She vows revenge on her brother Zeus and the rest of the Olympians, causing the earth to become barren and the seasons to cease. Zeus, realizing the severity of the situation, intervenes and strikes a deal with Hades, but not before insulting Persephone's intelligence and humiliating her father, all in order to get everything back to normal. And what about the time that Apollo and Artemis, the twin gods of music and the hunt, respectively, were caught in a web of deceit and betrayal when they accidentally killed a follower of their sister, Diana? After killing the man, Apollo tried to cover up the crime by weaving a false account of the incident, only to be exposed by Hermes, the messenger of the gods. Or how about the time that Ares, the god of war, betrayed his own father Zeus by siding with the Trojans against the Greeks during the Trojan War? His actions led to the deaths of many heroes, including his half-brother, Hector, and his own son, Astyanax. These acts of betrayal caused rifts in the Olympian family that were never fully healed, and they serve as reminders of the complex and often contradictory nature of the gods. Despite their divine status, they are capable of great love and compassion, but also of terrible cruelty and deceit. Now let's turn our attention to the humans who dared to cross the Olympians. The story of Prometheus is one of the most famous tales of betrayal in Greek mythology. Prometheus was a titan who defied the gods by stealing fire and bringing it to the humans. As punishment, Zeus chained him to a rock where an eagle ate his liver every day and regenerated it overnight, forcing him to endure this torture for eternity. The story of Prometheus serves as a warning to mortals about the dangers of challenging the authority of the gods. But it also highlights the lengths to which they will go to protect their creations. By stealing fire, Prometheus gave humanity the ability to cook their food, make tools, and stay warm. He also gave them the knowledge and skills necessary to build houses, make clothes, and defend themselves against the dangers of the natural world. In doing so, he helped them to thrive and advance. which made them more capable of understanding and appreciating the gifts that the gods had given them. But it wasn't just Prometheus who risked the wrath of the gods to help humanity. There were other titans who did the same thing. For example, Atlas was condemned to hold up the sky for the eternity, after he helped the other titans fight against the Olympians. And Epimetheus, Prometheus's brother, was punished for his own folly when he accepted a gift from Zeus that turned out to be a curse. Yet despite these sacrifices, the Olympians still viewed humans as inferior beings, who should be kept in their place. They saw Prometheus's gift of fire as a violation of the natural order of things, and they were furious that he had given it to humans without their permission. This betrayal was deeply felt by Prometheus, and he came to resent the Olympians for their arrogance and their unwillingness to see the value of humanity. He believed that humans were capable of great things and that they deserved the chance to succeed on their own merits. However, the Olympians were not open to his arguments, and they punished him severely for his crime. Now let's talk about another titan who betrayed the Olympians, Typhon. Typhon was a monster with multiple heads and was the last of the titans to be slain in the war against the Olympians. He was so powerful that even Zeus was afraid of him. But eventually Zeus managed to defeat Typhon, destroying him forever. The destruction of Typhon was a traumatic event that shook the foundations of the cosmos. It was a moment when the old order of things was swept away and the new order was established. However, the victory came at a great cost. Zeus had to unleash all of his power to defeat Typhon, and in doing so, he unleashed forces that would have a profound impact on the future of the Greek pantheon. In fact, Zeus's victory over Typhon is considered to be the moment when the gods became immortal. Before this, the gods were subject to the same laws of nature as mortals. But Zeus's victory over Typhon allowed him to claim the title of supreme leader of the cosmos, and to establish a new order in which the gods were immortal and all-powerful. However, this betrayal was not welcomed by everyone. Some of the elder gods were horrified at the thought of the titans being destroyed and the old ways of life being abandoned. They saw the titans as noble and honorable creatures who had been persecuted and abused by the Olympians, and they felt that Zeus's actions were nothing more than a continuation of the Olympians' tyranny. But not all betrayals in Greek mythology are as epic or consequential as the overthrow of the titans or the destruction of Typhon. Sometimes they are much more personal and intimate. One such example is the story of Philomela and her sister, Procne. The sisters were once beautiful human women who were turned into birds by the gods. Their story is a tragic tale of betrayal, lust and revenge that serves as a warning to those who dare to cross the gods. But what exactly did the sisters do to deserve such a cruel punishment? Well, it all started when Philomela was invited to a feast by her sister Procne, who was married to King Pondion. While at the feast, Philomela was raped by King Pondion, and in her grief and anger she fled to her sister's house. However, her trauma was so great that she could not speak, and so she decided to encase herself in a wooden chest and wait for someone to find her. Unfortunately for her, her own father ended up finding the chest, and believing that his daughter was dead, he took her to the king as a bride. Once again, Philomela was violated by the king, but this time she was able to escape and flee to the mountains, where she turned herself into a nightingale. The story of Philomela and Procne is a powerful allegory for the dangers of unchecked desire and the destructive nature of patriarchal power. The sisters' betrayal of each other is all the more tragic, because it is driven by forces beyond their control. They are victims of circumstance who are forced to make impossible choices in order to survive. The transformation of Philomela and Procne into birds is a metaphor for their loss of agency and their inability to control their own destinies. They become trapped in a cycle of violence and abuse that ultimately leads to their downfall. These are just a few examples of the many betrayals that occur in Greek mythology. From the highest peaks of Olympus to the darkest depths of the underworld, the Greeks explored the complexities of human nature through their stories of gods and monsters. They showed that even the most powerful and seemingly invincible beings are not immune to the destructive power of betrayal, and sometimes the greatest betrayals are the ones that we inflict upon ourselves. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a comment below to share your thoughts on the betrayals that shook Olympus to its core. Which betrayal surprised you the most, and which god do you think acted with the most integrity? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss an upload. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of Greek mythology. Until next time, remember to stay curious and keep exploring the world around you. Who knows what ancient secrets you might uncover?